viewers, we welcome you to yet another episode of Doordarshan Meghalaya's Career Guidance Program. I'm your host Shweta, and today we have with us yet another very special guest. Today we have with us a very special guest. He is a co-founder, creative director and cinematographer with the Hills People Collective based out of Shillong in Meghalaya. Mr. Mylliemngap earned his Masters in Media and Communications degree from Symbiosis Institute of Media and Communications in Pune. He has several professional credits to himself and has contributed immensely as assistant director in popular series that have featured in Amazon Prime as well as in Netflix, among other projects. We welcome you to our show, Mr. Mewan.
Hello everyone, I am Mylliemngap.
Great, so let's begin with today's session. Please tell our viewers more about yourself, your experience, your education, and your current pursuit.
I am the co-founder and cinematographer of the Hills People. Currently, I am doing a lot of government projects. I am primarily focused on cinematography and as well as a little bit of direction. I have done my education from Symbiosis Institute of Media and Communication, Pune. I did a 2-year course there in audio and visual, mainly focusing on films.
Alright, so do you think there's any difference in people's perception and reception towards taking up career as a videographer or a cinematographer or a director? And why do you think there is this difference in perception?
See, if you asked me this question a few years ago, maybe I would have had a totally different answer to it. Okay. People's idea about the kind of work that we do, about how we are able to earn our bread, it was very different then and now. Okay, I think people now have been a lot more open and a lot more accepting of the profession that we do because they see the potential. Photography and is something that as a hobby you can pick up and start right from when you're in college. You can land a job right from when you are in college and you can start earning. Okay, even before that, for that matter. So I think nowadays the perception of of our field has gone down quite a bit.
Which brings us to our next question. What do you think would be the first step to a beginner if they want to take up a career in video production or direction or as a cinematographer, for that matter? What are the basic criteria in terms of education?
You don't really need a professional education in media, okay? What you need to do is train yourself, okay? You need to train yourself each and every day towards your goal, all right? It's not a degree. No, I mean, big time filmmakers, no one asks them, what degree do you have? Where did you pass out from? How much did you score in your final exams and all that? Films are not defined by marks, okay? Let me be very clear with that. You really have to be passionate. That's again what I'm saying, okay? I know a lot of filmmakers who are school dropouts, all right? So I really don't think education has anything to do with film. Yes, I mean, you need to be well versed in books, especially. You need to read stories so that you'll be able to, be more creative and understand the ways in the art of film from the early times till now, all right? So that is, I think, one of the basic criteria. For aspiring directors, I think you should really be good at writing, okay? You should have the flow, the keen knowledge about how to go about your writing skills, how to develop structures in writing, okay? Your writing should not be plain and blank, okay? It should have different emotions in them. It should really lead the audience from where they're sitting to be in that place, okay? Whereas for cinematographer, you should be like I said earlier, you should be very good at seeing things in a different perspective, okay? Also, you should be very good at handling the camera, right? You should know the different techniques of filmmaking. Yeah, you should always be well versed in the equipment that you're using, no matter if it's a high-end professional camera or if it's even a mobile phone. All right, you should know how much can you push your gadget, okay? Because some stories don't really need a high-end professional camera to be created. You can just use your mobile phone and you can tell beautiful stories if you know how to use that tool. So knowing your tool is very, very important in cinematography.
So, are there any preparation programs or requirements for pursuing a career in video production or cinematography? And can you suggest our viewers some good institutions in Meghalaya or across the state?
If you talk about Meghalaya, right, homegrown, I think St. Anthony's is one of the top performing institutes here that teaches the art of film craft, right? Apart from that, I don't really know any other, but yes, St. Anthony's College, the mass media department, is one that you should look out for. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of preparation programs for film course. I think there are only two really professional film institutes in India run by the government, that is I'm saying. One is SRFTI in Kolkata. It's Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute. And one is FTII, that is in Pune. It's Film and Television Institute of India. So I think those two education centers are the best for professional filmmakers if you're willing to go all the way. Then there are the private ones that are a lot more expensive. Okay, let us be very clear about this. Film is a very expensive hobby. Okay, I think this is one of the most set statements out there, that photography is a very expensive hobby and film is even more expensive. All right, because you need a lot more equipments and a lot more budgets to make films. So these private institutions are going to cost you a lot and a lot of money. Okay, what most people in India do is that they opt for SRFTI, that is in Kolkata, and FTI, that's in Pune. These are very professional, well-known and regarded institutes in India that even the Bollywood industry recognizes. Okay, the Bollywood industry picks up a lot of their cinematographers and directors and actors, sound designers from these institutes.
And also, once a degree has been achieved and the education criteria have been fulfilled, do you think a person should look for internship opportunities before actually taking a plunge into this profession?
Yeah, once you have, you are ready to go the next step, then of course internships are your main way to go forward. Okay, internship gives you a seat in some of the really big productions out there. All right, you don't just get to go and just become a cinematographer or a director or anything else for that matter. Okay, you first have to work under somebody, you have to learn, you have to gain that experience. In that way, internships are very important because these are what will make or break you. Okay, some people after the internship, they realize that this is not the job for them, because what they did all along and what the real world scenario is like is completely different. And when they see that truth, they realize that either this is for them and they want to be here, they want to live here, okay, or this is not for them. So yeah, I think internships are the next way forward.
Is there any age bar with respect to choosing cinematography or video production as a career?
No, I don't think age has anything to do with cinematography. Okay, you can be novice from school, you can be a professional at the age of 50, you can be any age for that matter. Okay, and you can always go ahead and choose cinematography as your field. You are welcome to come to this field at any age. All right, we have no restrictions in that sense. Some of the best directors, some of the best cinematographers there are either very young or very old. Okay, the ones that are very old are very experienced, all right, and the ones that are very young are very dynamic and creative. So I think the industry actually lies between young and the old group.
So what are the simple steps towards becoming a videographer or a cinematographer? Could you sequence it in simple words for the benefit of our aspirants?
A typical step to becoming a cinematographer is learning to see your image. Okay, you have to be good at observing things, right? You have to observe something that people don't see. From you have to look at it a different perspective. Okay, supposing now you're looking at someone throwing a rock at a water in the water. Okay, now we are, as human beings, we are programmed to see that all right, this person is holding a rock, he's throwing it, and the rock drops into the water and it sinks, right? That's the end of the story. But for a cinematographer, the story goes on beyond that. Okay, now the next thing as cinematographers, what we do is we visualize. Okay, now we see the rock after hitting the water sinks. Now we go from the fish's perspective, or from a reptile's perspective that's underneath the water. Okay, how does that rock, okay, create a story in their environment now? How these creatures now see that rock fall and create a ripple in the water, right? And how it slowly falls and sinks at the bottom of the riverbed. Okay, that is the difference between a cinematographer and a normal person. Okay, you have to learn how to visualize more. Same thing goes with being a director. Okay, you have to find stories and everything. Okay, you have to look at the world from a different perspective, like I said earlier. All right, you have to envision of how this same scenario would be if this other element was available or present. Okay, how much of an impact would it create? All right, you have to be very creative. I mean, you have to be lost in space sometimes. All right, you have to think out of the box. That's the best way to put it. Your thought process has to be out of the box and think like no one else. I mean, that is what makes direction special and unique. Okay, you're able to create stories from nothing. Okay, or you just see a simple one-liner of a story and you're able to create an entire hour, keep telling that story for hours and hours, and people are made to believe your story. I think that is something that direction talks about. Okay, how do you tell stories? So that is one way to be a good director. See, if you're passionate about something, you'll end up doing it with all your heart and soul. Okay, you'll put all your heart and soul to it, and thereby you'll be more creative. All right, your creativity will only be defined by the amount of passion that you have for the work that you do. Okay, film life is not easy. All right, if you're working in professional film, call times are as ridiculous as 3 a.m. in the morning. I mean, a lot of people don't even sleep at 3 a.m. But here in this field, you have to be ready for work at 3 a.m. in the morning. Okay, you have to, because why? Film is counted right from the time the sun rises. Okay, as soon as we get our first light. So if we are there late, I mean, let's look at the sunrise. It's, let's say, 6 a.m. All right, we have to be 2 hours ready before that, correct? So 2 hours before is 4. Okay, now you have to get up, you have to take a shower, you have to prepare yourself mentally, physically, right? So 1 hour you need for that. So let's just say I'm giving a rough timeline of 3. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that it's very, very difficult. Okay, if you're not passionate about it, you will not be able to survive in the industry at all.
What skills could prove to be helpful to aspiring cinematographers according to you, and something that they can hone on and start developing?
See, the first step to pursuing a career in this field is passion. All right, without passion, you'll get nowhere. I mean, you won't even end up starting. If you're doing this just for the glam, just for the fame, just, as a time pass, you might start up good, but in the long run, it won't help you. Okay, you really need to be passionate about what you're doing. Then, it'll show in your work. Okay, you will understand and see yourself differently every day as you grow along with your field.
Well, by now everybody knows that you are the co-founder of the Hills People production house. But I'm sure that you and your team may have had to face a lot of challenges when you first started this. So please give our viewers a deep insight into how you started your production house and the challenges that you had faced and how you overcame them and how you even overcome them on a daily basis, and your journey from just being a startup to becoming one of the most sought after video production houses in Shillong and Meghalaya as a whole.
So the Hills People, I'll tell you a little bit about our team. We started off with 4 members. All right, so it took us quite some time to get where we are, but the journey has been quite fun. In Shillong, you need a platform to get recognized. All right, and not everyone's going to hire you or give you a job if you are just out of college. And I myself was studying in my final year in St. Anthony's at that time, and So what we did was we started out doing weddings. Okay, I met these two professional friends of mine who have worked and studied outside in the industry and have just come back to Shillong. Okay, so they were planning to build a team, and I was lucky enough to be picked up by one, and we ended up doing weddings for the start. Okay, and there was something about our weddings that made it look very professional, and this we told a story in our weddings. Okay, just wasn't a video clip. It wasn't just your wedding highlight. It was actually us telling your story on your wedding day. And I think that is what made our team different from others, from the rest here. Okay, and thereby I think the audience here saw, okay, that we had the potential. Like I said, right, you actually need, I mean, people nowadays are seeing, okay, they observe the skills that you have, okay, and they appreciate this, and our skills are being appreciated day by day. Okay, so I think that is how we were able to start off this venture of ours. And in time, with weddings, we ended up gaining a little revenue so that we could upgrade our equipments. Okay, and as we upgraded our equipments, then we were more and more ready for bigger projects, for films, okay, for documentaries. So I think that is how we were able to take the small steps and climb on to the top of the ladder. I mean, we're not there yet, we are still on the way there, but hopefully in the few years to come.
What are your comments and suggestions on taking up direction or video production as a career option with regards to the existing scenario in the state of Meghalaya? Do you think it's feasible, or given your experience, what would be your comments?
I get asked this question a lot because I was also working in Mumbai for quite some time. A lot of people tell me, like, are you planning to come back there, or are you planning to stay in the state? What are you doing there? I mean, if I start looking at our state, we actually have so much potential here to grow. Okay, this is one of the most sought after regions in the entire India. All right, a lot of filmmakers from outside wish to shoot the exotic scenes here. So why do we need to go work there when they want to come here, right? So instead of going there, what I feel is the most important thing to do is to build an industry here, so that we may be able to grow and give a lot of and provide a lot more job opportunities. Okay, media industry can provide a lot of job opportunities, not just to filmmakers. If you have a film crew, then you are able to bring about job opportunities for other people from other fields. Like, let's say we'll need drivers. Okay, we will need to hire a lot of cars for the actors, for the sets. Okay, we will need to hire cooks for preparation of the food during the film shoot. Okay, we will need to hire carpenters for creating the sets. We will need to hire electricians. So you see, media itself, I mean, it creates a lot of revenue for other streams, not just for our own. So I think the government should also look into this quite keenly, because we have not really tapped the surface as of yet.
What, according to you, are the pros and cons of choosing this as a career option? And what do you think are the future prospects once somebody takes a dive into this option?
Pro would be you enjoy the work you're doing, if you're passionate about it, that is. You will never get bored. There will never be a boring day in this industry, let me tell you. You will end up visiting a lot of places, you will end up traveling a lot, you will end up meeting a lot of new people. If you work hard, media does reward you if you are keen in what you do and if you work hard. Okay. One of the cons, though, is that we do not work on a salary basis. Okay, we work on project basis. So you have to be very smart, and you have to schedule yourself. You have to schedule yourself very smartly. Okay, today you might get bread on your table, tomorrow you might not. That depends on you. Okay, there's no government job where you'll just go from 9 to 10 or 9 to 5 every day. At the end of the month, your account will be credited with this much, right? This is not true in media field, okay, or any other professional field for that fact. you really have to work hard. Okay, you have to, today if you're working, you have while you're working, you have to plan for your next shoot. Okay, now what am I going to do for the next week? Okay, what am I going to do tomorrow? Right? Nothing is predictable. Okay, nothing is simplified for you in that step. It's really a hard road, and if you're gonna walk through it, then you will land up, in a pretty good place. But if you are going to fall down in between, then it's going to be very difficult for you. Okay, so yeah, you have to work hard. That's one of the main things about this field of ours.
Well, Mr. Mewan, you are somebody who has started your own venture. So for someone who wants to start his or her own venture, what kind of advice would you give to them, and how do you think they should go about it?
So if you want to start a venture in media, I think the most important thing is form a team. Okay, you cannot survive in this market alone, because why? Media requires a lot of skill set, not just one. You cannot direct, shoot, do your sound, art, makeup, okay, train your artists, build the set, and do everything all on your own. You need an entire team to do that with you. And that is the beautiful thing about media, teamwork. Okay, if you want to be successful, you will need a team of people, right? Like-minded people. Okay, and that is how you will excel, and you can work and achieve goals faster. Okay, so that, if you're a cinematographer, you only concentrate on your field of work, right? And as soon as you're done, you pass on your work, or you delegate your work to the next department, right? And there's a chain of flow between different departments in that production house, let's call it. Okay, so that is why having a team is very, very important in this field. And I want to clear one very important notion though. I mean, a lot of these newcomers into the field think that, buying the most expensive equipment will guarantee you a seat, okay, on that table. I wish to tell you all that this is by far a very, very wrong thought. Okay, your equipments will never define you. Okay, it is you yourself, your skill, your talent that will take you places. Okay, so I really strongly advise the newcomers in media not to purchase expensive equipments just yet. Okay, first learn the art of film. Okay, venture out, start shooting with just your phone. Explore lighting. Okay, explore how lighting actually helps tell the story, okay, in a different perspective. Lighting itself is one of the main aspects of cinematography. Okay, if you learn how to control your light, you will be very good at what you do. Okay, and you do not need the most expensive cameras to do this. All right, you just need to be aware of your surroundings. Again, you build your own setups, build small setups. Okay, and practice, and then when you have learned and when you feel you are ready to go to the next step, then you start making purchases. All right, do not do it at the start, because you will end up spending all your money and you will be totally dependent on your gear or equipment, and thereby you will never build your skill, right? You'll never build your skill set, because because you will always rely on your equipments. You will think that they will create all the magic, but it is not them, it is you. Okay, you are the one who is going to tell the story. You are the one who is going to create magic.
Right, and lastly, any advice and suggestions to all our viewers who are viewing this episode today with us? What would be your advice and suggestions to our viewers today?
Yeah, so my advice to the viewers would be to never ever skip your dreams. All right, don't think that you will never make it. Okay, if you already have that mindset, then it'll be very difficult for you to climb the ladder. Always remember that you have good days and you have bad days. Okay, not all days are going to be the same. Some days are going to be very difficult, but the one thing that you should remember is don't quit. Okay, don't quit ever. Right, work hard and strive for success always. The people in the industry, their style of working is very different compared to us. Here we're very slow, laid back, easy. All right, but over there, time is money for them. Every second counts. Okay, and they will not let anyone for that matter take that away from them. Okay, they will make sure to make you work 100% of what time you're given. All right, they will bring out the 100% in you, but you also have to give them that determination, that devotion. Okay, and you have to work very, very hard for that. All right, so I think that is something that all the youths should learn, to be patient, to be accepting, and to work hard.
So practice, patience, hard work, and realizing the value of time. The mantra is to never give up. Thank you so much, Mr. Mewan, for sparing your valuable time for our viewers on this show today.
Thank you so much, Doordarshan, for having me on this program. I hope my little conversation with you all would be an inspiration to the youths today who are striving in this field, and I hope to meet them in future. Thank you so much.
We wish you all the best in all your future endeavors, and we hope that this episode has been helpful to our viewers today. Well, that's all in today's episode of Doordarshan Meghalaya's Career Guidance Program. We will be back with yet another interesting episode. Until then, keep watching Doordarshan Meghalaya. This is Shweta along with the team of Career Guidance Program signing off. Thank you.